Hey there, Pete Erickson here, founder of Modev. Welcome to AI Conversations, a video series where we dive into the world of generative and conversational AI. We'll talk to the experts in this fast-growing field to learn more about the people driving AI forward, how the technology is evolving, and what the future looks like. Today's kind of fun because I'm actually going to be interviewed by Greg Matusky. He's the founder of Gregory FCA, PR firm, a well-renowned firm that's also at the cutting edge of technology.
So let's talk about this event that's coming up in the fall in Washington, D.C. Pete, I'm very excited by it, and I know you are. So share with us what it's all about.
Well, you know, this conference has some background. We're actually in our 6th year for this event. It was formerly called Voice Summit. We tweaked the name this year to really be representative of what's happening in the market.
Tell me about that from your perspective, somebody that's been in AI for a while, and where you see the puck going here.
Yeah, so I'll take you back to 2011. Modev was a pretty large meetup community based in the DC area, and that's the year that Siri came out. And we actually had a meetup about Siri and how it can actually impact mobile applications. And for 2 hours, app developers from across gaming and healthcare and banking talked about all the ways that voice could improve their applications. And they were incredulous that Siri was out, but there was no access to the API. And actually, the Siri API wouldn't really be largely available to developers for another 10 years. But in 2015, a company out of Seattle called Amazon had an alpha release of a product called Alexa. And we actually put on the very first Alexa developer workshop in 2016. And then we went on a whole nationwide tour with Amazon to 15 cities in 2017. And what we learned during that tour was, sure, developers were at these events, but there were also publishers and banks and entertainment and media companies and car companies, and everybody really wanted to get into the game of artificial intelligence. So this market has been evolving for some time, and we all use customer service, agents where it's an automated agent. And trust me, the technology just hasn't been there where I think we want it to go to. And then last fall, of course, ChatGPT came out, and it really shook the market in many ways and opened up this field that we call generative AI that's been building for some time. And but now it's gone mainstream. Every boardroom is asking every C-suite, what are we doing about ChatGPT, or what are we doing about large language models? What are we doing about AI?
How do you see this changing the way businesses operate in the future, this transformation from conversational to generative AI?
In order to leverage generative AI effectively, you have to have a conversational AI strategy. So I think what a lot of companies are figuring out very quickly is that, it's one thing to put together a test of using a chatbot for customer service, for example. But then it gets very complex when you think about controlling those conversations, keeping them aligned with your brand, your ideals, your voice. All that is really complex. So the relationship between generative AI, which is the creation of the understanding the intent, and then the creation of the output based on that intent, that the end result is having a really good conversational AI strategy. So there's the intertwined relationship between those two capabilities, and that's where our conference really sits. But you ask the question, what are companies doing? Well, they're learning as fast as they can, because I think most organizations feel like they have to get ahead of the artificial intelligence, trend, and to stay relevant with their customers.
What are some of the concerns you think as you look out with this transformation from conversational to generative, and then nexus between them? What are your concerns?
There is maybe a feeling for many in the market that it's moving so fast that, and AI is a very powerful tool. So it has the opportunity to have some negative impacts and negative consequences. However, industry is not going to pause. I mean, if anything, what you're seeing industry do is actually maybe address some of the concerns. In fact, OpenAI just announced this morning that they have an enterprise license to OpenAI that protects your corporate data. And the reason why they did What's that?
Very much.
Yeah. So, but it still remains to be seen. What is the privacy policy really for putting your corporate data in there? Really, are they still training models on it? There's still like a lot of unknowns. But I know of large companies that have completely banned the use of large language model interfaces, anything generative, for their staff. And they're so adamant about it, they're calling it a fireable offense. And the reason is companies are realizing that, I think what's happened over the last 6 months is a lot of companies sort of lost control of their data, whether it's code or contracts, et cetera, and they realize, like, wait a minute, it is a bit of the Wild West right now, and I think my concerns more aren't on that AI is going to become sentient and wipe us out. My concerns are more about everyday people getting hurt by AI, much the same way that many people have been hurt by social media. So my concerns are more about safety, and health of the everyday user, and less about maybe the AI is becoming out of control and sentient. I don't think that's on the horizon anytime soon.
Let's talk to the developer side, Pete, which is going to be a big part of the conference in September.
Right.
What challenges are they facing, do you see, in the field of generative and conversational AI?
Yeah, I think there aren't many developers now that aren't probably using some portion of code generators. We have GitHub is coming to the conference, and they're presenting on Copilot, which is great. We're really, really excited about that.
It's a big get. That's a big get with GitHub.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and it sends a signal with regards to like the evolution of this conference, because the code generators are a really important part of this market. And, there is a lot of conversation about the future developer and what does this look like. And I think the developers become more architects and more orchestrators and less coders. However, we're still going to need a lot of coders. There's still a demand for many more developers in the world. I think it's an exciting time to be a developer because of just how productive you can be. And now you've got, debugging tools and all kinds of things they're going to really help you. So I think that really understanding what the opportunities are for developers is really important. We're excited about that aspect of the conference for sure.
I think you're right on mark. And it brings up some interesting ideas about the conference and what do we expect? And can you give us a sneak peek and a preview, some of the names that'll be there and who should attend?
This is really our comeback event, but it's also such a different conference just from a content standpoint. So, we have Microsoft and the people that work at the intersection of the Microsoft and OpenAI relationship, giving hands-on sessions on how to incorporate the latest tools from Microsoft. We're really excited about that. I mentioned GitHub as well is going to be doing sessions on Copilot, but all the other major tech players are going to be presenting. NVIDIA and the teams that run their LLM products and their Omniverse products, Apple, Google, Samsung, Dell, AWS, they're all going to be presenting at the conference. So there's going to be, the major tech players are going to be on hand, giving, the attendees a lot of attention and time. Also, we've got a lot of industry players. So whether it's GM or Capital One or Chase Bank or Walmart, Prudential, several healthcare organizations are going to be presenting. Academics and state level and federal level organizations are also going to be on hand. So we really are presenting this intersection of conversational generative AI, through a lens of actually building the products and getting them to market. And then I don't want to forget all the major industry players that really shape, the conversational and generative AI landscape. So players like Veritone and Poly AI, Cognigy, ReadSpeaker, Veil Systems. There are so many really good, really solid platform players that are going to be a part of the conference and the content. So if you're trying to, who should attend this conference, if you really want to understand the AI and generative AI and conversational AI landscape and actually how to get in and how to build and what to build and who to work with, this is the conference for you. We like that, we're not a monolithic, one platform conference. We really give people a full purview of the industry. And then lastly, I'll add this, Greg. This is such an important year, and the conversation too around policies related to AI and ethics around AI and standards that are going to be forming around AI. So we'll have those conversations happening as well, and then the startups. We're going to bring as many generative and conversational AI startups from around the world, and we're going to plan a big event on Wednesday, September 6th called Prompt Night, which will be the largest meetup happening on the East Coast, and there will be just a ton of activity and a lot of fun activities that night as well. So we're planning something for everybody up and down the stack, from people that are managing products and building products all the way up to the tech leaders and the industry influencers and everybody in between. It's going to be a big party, and we're really excited for it.
Well, it's exciting. You bringing together the entire ecosystem to voice
That's
and
right.
AI. And most importantly, where do you go for tickets? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you can go right to our website, voiceand.ai.
We look forward to seeing everybody at Voice and AI here in September. Thanks, Pete.
Greg, thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you there.